Hello! A little Kicad quickie to let you skip the repetitive in your schematics. Now, if you've used Kicad, you're probably familiar with the scripting available for the layout tool, either directly or through all those cool plugins. Now, the scripts are a really great way to get a lot done, but what about the schematics? I found myself wanting to automate some edits, and it led me to create a system that lets you do just that. Here I'll show you how to use this open source library to poke around and make changes in eeschema schematics using Python. Never again will you do anything repetitive and boring in your designs. The skip library lets you do a lot with those Kicad S-expression schematic source files. Now, if you want to dive in on your own right now, the link is below and I've tried to provide some decent documentation. But let me give you a taste of what you can do. I'll do a mini tour and make some one-liner edits, and then we'll do some useful scripting. We'll automate the process of creating a Charlieplex array of LEDs of any size. Come on. Okay, this is the tiny tape-out demo boards. It's open. There's stuff in here to play with. So in a Python REPL shell, I'll import the schematic class from the library and load up the structure by creating an object and passing it the file path. Now we've loaded up the Kicad sch file, and this object, if you just use tab completion, you can see it has a lot of attributes. Now, first thing is I put some effort into documenting the classes and methods, so help should work on most things, so check that out. You get some nice clues as to usage. Now, some of these attributes are very simple. It's basically hashes of hashes, and they're reflected as is in the object. If we peek into the file, you can see paper is just some string, title block has some hierarchy to it, but then just strings. So these things are leaves in the tree and easy to deal with. The only important thing to note is that if you want to operate on the stored value within, you use the .value attribute. Now, where it gets interesting are the more complex items and collections. So there's only one title block and one paper, but there are many wires and symbols and junctions and text and labels and rectangles. These are in collections. Here are all the text elements in the sheet, and here are the labels. And any collection of items can be treated as a list. So you can loop over them or just address them by index and just treat them like any array, basically. This is great for scripting, and one-liners too. Say we want to change the value of some subset of resistors. So some of these guys. Now let's look at the values. Those 68 ohms are too small, so let's change only those in this subset to 100 ohms. So for each of those R, I could search by value, whatever. If the value is 68R, then change it to 100. Now we can take a look. Very cool. So you could save that and be done. Now, if you're in the console like this, I think this is really great. For things that have unique names like schematic symbols and components, you can actually also access them by name, which means code completion. Just hit tab and you see everything available, or add some letters for subgroups. Pretty neat. Now, all the important stuff is located somewhere on the page. That usually means that they have an @ attribute. And the collections also have a few helper methods to filter them by position. So you can search within specific circles or rectangles or elements near or between other elements. Okay, in the schematic, so if we look at this USB connector here, J15, you can see it has a few components attached, some labels, global labels for the data lines. So if we want all these labels, say between these two guys, you can call between elements. There. If you call that on a specific collection, that's what you get, whatever's in that collection. And if you do it on the schematic itself, well, you get all the things. Now, often you won't be going from specific coordinates. You're more interested in specific symbols. So the symbols have lots of attributes that come directly from the source file. They also have some processed additions like the pins, which can also be addressed by name if they have them. And both the symbol pins and the symbols themselves have the smarts to crawl the wiring, and so you can see lists of what they're connected to. So you can get specific types of things like global labels, or just get everything that's attached. Okay, enough tour. Let's do something useful. Say I want to generate a Charlieplex array of LEDs. So we'll have a grid of LEDs, and all the anodes are going to be tied together in rows, and all the columns, cathodes, will be tied together in columns. First thing, let's create a schematic with nothing but a single LED. This lets me set up everything for all the LEDs that we'll generate here by cloning them using the UI. So I choose a footprint. I can add extra properties that will be set for all the clones, say an NPN. I'll tweak the fields to make things nice and compact. Okay, so we save that, and this will be our baseline LED for everything. I'm just renaming it 200 here, so it won't get in the way. Okay, let's load this up in the library and have a look. So here's our LED with all the properties set up just the way we want. Also notice that this component has named pins, which is nice, so we'll use those. Great. Let's get scripting. Okay, I've created a little file here and just added some conversion functions. I want everything to line up on the grid and would like to think in unit steps rather than millimeters or anything weird, so I'll use these. I'm also going to make my life simple during dev by preloading the schem here. So now in Python, we can just import everything from this file, and we'll have the schematic and functions to play with. Good. First thing, let's create an array of clones. So we'll have a create LEDs function, which takes in the LED to clone, the number of rows, number of columns we want to gen, and optionally a ref number to start at. We'll return a table we can address by row and column and keep track of where we are. So for each row, we'll have a column of LEDs, and for each LED in the column, we want a new diode. For this, we'll replicate the base on here by calling clone. Now this makes a deep copy of the original. It's in the same spot with the same name though, so we need to move it and rename it. So first thing, let's move it to where it's going to be. I'm going to space them out and get some coordinates. Move 7 units between columns, 6 units between rows. So we can position this using move, and it'll move all the labels and whatever along with it. Here I'm going to place the component half a unit to the left so the pins actually line up on the grid. Okay, so it's moved. Now the reference. Now the new name will be D whatever the count is. Now here's something that can trip you up. Let's look at the symbol in Python. This LED has a reference property, as we know. But if the schema was shared between multiple projects, or even here with a newly created file in a single project, Kicad is being helpful and buried deep within the structure. Hard to look at here, but look at this. There's another reference, and it turns out that Kicad figures out that reference number that you see based on that. So when you're changing the reference, you need to change the right one, or just use set all references utility here to do it on every reference that's in there if you don't actually care. Okay, we're done with this. Let's hold on to it and increment the count. Finally, we're done with this column, and we'll add it to the table and return the table. Let's try this out. We reload all this fresh stuff and create the array, and it gives us back that table, which we just dropped, but that's okay. If we still want to play with them, look at that. They're all in the symbol collection now. Okay, let's write this out to another file. It could just overwrite in case we messed up, though I'm going to put it in a new file. Now loading this in eeschema. Okay, cool. Good to go. Okay, time for wiring. Now, I dislike junctions straight on the pins, so what we're going to do is stick out a little bit of wire out of each pin, and then the columns will go down like that, and the arrays will go up like that, like this. For the anodes, we'll travel over the fields, and then finally join the rows like this. So in the code, let's leave the function we have alone and make a distinct create and wire LEDs function that calls the first. We'll pass in the schematic, the symbol create LEDs needs, a number of rows, number of columns, and that optional start ref. Okay, first off, get that nicely ordered table of LEDs from create LEDs. Now we're going to create and collect some wires. We've got no wires in the schematic to clone, but that's okay. So that's empty, but we can just create some out of thin air here, and it's in the collection now. So wires have a start point and an end point. Now you could set those by hand, but there are some pretty nice utility methods in here. First off, you can set the start or end point using anything that has a location, like a pin. Then you can use deltas to stretch it in any direction. Now with the deltas, the start point will stay fixed and the library will stretch it out and move the end point to match whatever your deltas is. So if I wanted horizontal, delta y is 0. And if we want to going left, we'll go -10. So we can use all that. For each LED in a row, we'll create the 3 wires, 2 coming out of the pin and 1 going up above the row. So let's figure out which direction this LED is facing. Things that have a position and rotation have 3 elements in the at array there. So the third one being rotation. So if it's 180 degrees, the anode wire will go left, otherwise right, and the inverse for the cathode wire. So the cathode wire starts on the K pin. It's horizontal, delta y 0. And I want to move 1 unit in the right direction on X. So let's keep hold of that wire. For the anode, we need 2 connected wires, and we'll just keep the one that pulls up there. So same thing, create a new wire, start it on the A pin this time, keep it flat, and move it 1 step in the right direction. Now from there, we want a second wire going up. It starts at the end of the first. It's vertical, so delta x is 0, and delta y is 3 steps long, negative, because we want to go up. Let's keep this pull-up wire for later. And that's it for the loop. We'll just keep the wires we care about organized like the lead table. Let's try this out. Let's do a bigger array. Okay, we have got wires. Nice. Save that. Reload. Okay, most excellent. Wait. I don't know. What's this? Wires going the wrong way. That's why. Ah, derp. If -1, else -1. Okay, let's try that again. Yes, good. This is good. Now we just need to add the big wires to the row and columns, then just add some junctions and some labels. So for each row, we'll create a joining wire that starts at the end of the last wire in the row and ends a bit to the left of the first wire in the row. While we're here, let's go over all those wires and stick a junction on the end. So that's just junction new and a move to the right spot. Finally, let's get a new global label and move it to the end of our row wire and give it a value that makes sense. Okay, the column wires are going to be pretty much the same. All right, I've implemented the column wires pretty much the same way. The one difference is this, going to get messy in there, so I've just changed the column wire width and style using these attributes. So let's look at the results. Reload and call that create in wire again, and then write it out. Ain't that pretty? Oh, you wanted more LEDs? Let's reload the original schematic. Now give me 100 LEDs. It's just as easy. And that's a whole lot of wires we didn't need to do. Let's take a look. That's fantastic. Everything is well wired together and we're good to go. I hope that gave you a good taste of what's possible using the library. Please give it a spin with a schematic you know and only call overwrite if you have a backup. Do let me know if you'd like to see anything else in there, if you hit any problems, or hey, if you like this, let me know with a little likey. Thanks for watching. Have fun.